You can leave that there, just minimise it. So, so onto that one now. Here we go. This is turning the sound up now. You just got to watch for clipping. So when you're talking, you can see it doesn't want to go to the orange part. So that's just should be perfect. Right. I think. Hang on 1 second. Yeah. Up to when you've got it on.
And then I can start talking.
Yeah, and
Right.
you should be perfect.
Right, let me just.
Morning everyone, Keith Brewer here, doing a bit of commentary for you this morning. We are at the Savanna's Club in Whitefield and we're here for Masters Part 2. This is the Senior Masters, which is a 50 and overs event. The match we've got on at the moment is between Dylan Leary and Liam Stanley, two very good players, so it's a tough first round draw, I suppose, if you look at it that way. I've missed the first frame because Dylan's already gone 1-0 up. Both of these players have recently turned 50. I think it's their first full year on the 50 and over circuit, on the senior circuit. And the senior side of the game really has become more and more popular. And as a lot of the players are turning 50, they're all kind of getting involved with the senior side, and that part of it has grown. And I think a lot of credit should go to JJ up here at Savanna's, because he's been helping promote some of the bigger tournaments now for the seniors pool. This is our second major event this year. And we've got more planned up here. I know there's another one, I think it's in November. It's going to be like the part 3 tournament. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit more shortly. I think Dylan, who's playing at the moment, has more of a snooker background. He's a great pool player, but he's got a good snooker background as well. And he's still doing very well on the actual men's circuit. He's actually the men's European champion at the moment. For those of you who've all just noticed there, but the yellow over the pocket has just fallen in. There's no penalty for that, the ball just gets replaced to both players' satisfaction. I remember when we used to play the old EPA rules years ago, because most of us that are over 50 all used to play them, of course, and of course if that happened at them rules, it was, if it was your opponent's ball, of course it was a foul. I think there is a bit of a debate to that, whether because sometimes the ball can go into the pocket, stay up maybe for a second or two and then drop in. Is when does it stay up and when does it stay down? I think there's a bit of a grey area there that probably needs looking at. I've seen a few arguments about it, as you can imagine. Dylan is one of these players that likes to get on with the game. He tries to attack at every opportunity, because a lot of our senior players are not quite like that. They like to take their time with their frames. Quite happy to get involved in tactical situations, which of course is based on the fact that we're all older players and we used to play the old tactical rules, the EPA rules. When I say EPA, I'm on about the old EPA. We're all brought up on them. Now these matches that we're playing are double elimination, so this is going to be the winner's side to start with. All matches are a race to 9 frames on this side. So yeah, it'll be a long weekend. Very, very well played shot there, well judged to get a 4-ball cannon beyond the red and with a little angle as well by looks of it, because it'll take a good shot to get on the black. Whether he can miss this yellow and get down table, we shall see, and we can. Excellent shot. Well, that's a very good finish there indeed. To get the 4-ball cannon, when you've like left your cannon till the very last shot, it's always very difficult, because obviously you get the slightly wrong cannon there, you've got no shot, you've actually gifted the frame back to your opponent. So to get the 4-ball cannon and with the perfect angle, but they do say fortune favours the brave, and there's a clear example of it. Okay, right, so we're back in the match here. One of them situations here where the balls are split open quite nicely, but they're all still quite close together, so you've got to mind your work on these finishes. Cue ball control is always vital. He'll already be kind of mapping out his finish here a little bit, trying to work out which ball to take to get on the next, etc, etc, to make the finish as easy as possible. Like I said, he's got a little bit of work to do. What he would have done is worked out his next 3 or 4 shots, elected to come up table and remove these 2 reds up table first, so then when he brings the cue ball down in amongst these 4 reds, it's just a matter of well, keeping cue ball control, really. That would be the idea.
Apologies, but if there's any additional files, we've got Lloyd helping us out today and tomorrow with any additional decisions. If you can give him a call.
Don't think he really wanted that kiss on the red. I think he was trying to go past that one. So I'm not sure if he can pot any of these reds now, but if he can, he's certainly gone to plan B. He's already worked out his finish and now he's had to change his plans, so he's going to have to go a different way. As I said before, when all the balls are gathered together like this, it is just so easy to get the cue ball in the wrong place, and an easy finish can become a hard finish. I think he was playing for the very left hand red there by the way he's played that. He's not quite on that. He's probably going to take the one that's near the racking spot, I would have thought. Could elect to play the plant, I suppose. Got a few options to look at. It's always hard to judge looking at a monitor rather than being at the table. Important shot, the next one, because the next one really is the one that opens the frame right up if he gets this one right. So he is going for the plant, or a combination shot if you like. To be fair, there he was up on the shot very quickly, but I suppose you could say he's had a result, because at least the red has stayed in the pocket, because he would have been snookered on his remaining 2 reds. To be fair, yellows are actually not that bad here. If you look at actually look at all the yellows, they're not that bad at all. So a containing safety shot being played there. It looks like a total snooker, so he can just decide to come off a cushion and hit a red. But another option he's got is he could play the black ball down to the red over the pocket. That's another option. In fact, you may be able to see the edge of this red. He looks like he's playing at it. I think that's what he was trying. But he's caught the yellow first, so that's a foul 2 visits. as I said before, the yellows aren't that bad. He's got a bit of work to do, of course, and he doesn't have to continue to attack if he wants to here, because there are some safe balls around for reds and yellows. But he is attack minded, Dylan, to be fair, so I'm sure he'll be looking for the finish here if it's possible. So there is quite a few matches going on this morning in the first round. You can see there's plenty of tables down here at Savanna's. 64 player tournament, double elimination to world rules. So what Dylan's done there is try to get all the yellows into play in one hit, which he's done. So now it's just a matter of potting them all. I think the number of times I've seen players be at the table with an easy looking finish, shall we say, and of course sometimes they're the ones that are very easy to make a mess of, because you might play shots where you just put the white into a certain area thinking the balls are so easy, I'm going to be on the next one, and of course it catches you out. So what you really need to do is still kind of concentrate and mind your work really on these kind of finishes. I'm just thinking as if Dylan's come a little bit off straight on this ball. Can't tell too much on the monitor, but I think he's got a bigger angle on this than what he wanted. Well, he's been a little bit fortunate there. That could so easily have gone all wrong, but he come out okay. Another very good break in this match. The tables do seem to break well here. There's a little bit of work to do on each suit here, whether you go reds or yellows. There's a bit of work to be done. Now don't forget we're playing world rules, so if you've pocketed the ball, you nominate. And if you nominate the suit that you've potted, in this case if he nominates yellows, because the yellow has been potted from the break, then he's instantly on the yellow balls. If he wants to nominate reds, which he can do, he will need to pot a red with his first shot to be on them. If he doesn't, then it's an open table for his opponent when they come to the table. Okay, so he's looking at jacking the cue up in the air, so anything can happen here. Well, not really sure what he was trying to do there. Anyway, so he's obviously nominated reds. He's potted a red, so he's on the reds now. Not sure what he's looking at here. Maybe just looking to kick this red out. Just going to come off the back cushion. Yep, just kick the ball out. And that's the end of that frame. And that's what you get sometimes when you play shots like that. So from 1-0 up, he's now 3-1 down. I would say this next frame now is a pretty big frame, because when you've gone 3-1 down, that's just happened here. It'll be in your mind for the next frame or so. I think if Dylan wins the next frame and goes 4-1 up, I think it'll be hard for Liam to come back from that. Unless you can, you know, find some kind of mentalness that you need. Not everybody's got that in their locker, to be quite honest. So ball potted, first object done. I would say the yellows look very nice. He's potted a red ball on the break, so if he nominates yellows, he does have to pot the yellow with his first shot. Okay, that's that part done. And if you look where all the yellows are situated, that really is looking pretty ominous. That's about the most perfect break, really, because you've got 4 reds up table, which are completely out of the way, 2 of them on cushions, and all your yellows are in the other half of the table. So it's kind of just match up the dots here. This is like I was saying before about having an easy finish in front of you like this. Is you do have to mind your work. It is just so easy to play a careless positional shot. already worked out the order he's going to pot the 4 yellows in, and then he just executes. It's all just about the old cue ball control, really, that's all it is. And that's now 4-1. So this is the Savanna Senior Masters Part 2. We did have a tournament earlier on in the year, the first one, and then this is the second one. There will be a third one later on in the year as well. Very well supported by the senior players. Obviously a ball must have been pocketed here because he stayed at the table. Yes, a red ball has disappeared. Again, nice break. I would suggest he's going to stay with the reds. So if he nominates red here, he's automatically on them, regardless of what happens with his shot. Nice shot as well. He's got a bit of work to do in this finish. I know the balls might look easy enough, but he's got this red up the table, and if you don't get clean in on it, when you cut that red in, you're going to be going towards these other yellows. So I can see a couple of obstacles here straight away. The next one is this one. Obviously he needs to clear the yellow there that he's just pointing at. So he's left an angle on this red. I think the only thing that goes wrong with these kind of shots, you shouldn't miss them, but sometimes you're playing for the cannon more than the pot. You think, yeah, well, the pot's easy enough, and what you end up doing is you get the cannon but miss the pot. So just mind your work again. That's not too bad. He's still a bit to do, you see, because he's going to have to come up for this red at some point, showing you there where he wants to be. And then if you look, the black doesn't pass into the bottom left hand pocket, which would be the obvious choice. So I still think there's an awful lot to do. That yellow he's just cannoned, although he's moved it so he can get to this red, it's still kind of in the way. If he wants to come up table and then come back down, that yellow is actually gonna hinder him somewhat. So he's working out now how he goes about it, and like I said before, this red that's up the table is going to be the problem, because when he pots it, his white is naturally going into the yellows on the left hand side as we look. So a couple of important positional shots really coming up. So he's going this way if he feels like he has to cut this ball in this way. So he's bridging right over the red, makes the pot much more difficult. Okay, so that's that part done. Now he's moved that yellow out the way, the black passes. So now really a crucial shot coming up positionally. Because if you fall short, like I said, your white is going over there towards the yellows. This was always going to be the problem. Well, that's not good. this still does cut in, but you're just losing the cue ball. It's just going to be flowing freely around the table, so he needs a good cannon here. Well, it could have been worse, let's face it. So he's got a shot, a reasonable shot at the black, so it's just as well he did move that yellow before. Got to be a bit careful with the cue ball here. If you hit this wrong, you could go in off. Just got to be a little, yes, he has got to be careful, because if he plays it natural and pots the black, he should be okay. If he screws it, he could knock the yellow in. Well, that's a very good shot indeed. He's cannoned the yellow. Could have gone anywhere, but he felt he just had to take that chance. Anyway, important frame, I think, for Liam, that one. Because after what had happened in the previous couple of frames, if he goes 5-1 down there, I don't really see much of a way back. But 4-2, it's only one break of serve. So we restart the match now. It's 4-2 for Dylan. It's broke off. Pocketed a red ball. Bit of work to do on either suit here. He will be nominating before he plays. Obviously we can't hear what he's going to say, so I'm going to take a punt at the yellows. They do look better situated. Having said that, of course, he could put the red, develop the red down the table here and have a go at the reds. Both sets are there, I suppose, but as I said, a bit of work to do on each set. This is where you start weighing things up. He's got no easy opening shot that I can see, and sometimes that can dictate what you want to do. So it's reds we're going for here. Well, I suppose he'll be happy with that, really. I did think he did play for the pot. He's played the cannon slowly, so he had the red back into the middle at least, and then I suppose he had a chance to go game. But the fact it stayed up won't disappoint him too much. He's still in a very good position. He owns basically the bottom part of the table there, with the red over one pocket and the black and a red near the opposite pocket. Liam's in quite a bit of trouble here, he knows that. That's why he's just taking time to make sure he plays the right shot here. Opted just to put the yellow in front of the red, which is the other pocket where the black is. Didn't see much else what he could do, really. Left a decent cue ball as well. Not left it so Dylan can do too much from there. I think that's one thing that poor players don't pay enough attention to when they play certain shots. Where you leave the cue ball is just so important. Yeah, I think Dylan was just doubling the red up and down the table, so he'll be quite happy with the outcome there. Got a few options here, Liam has. He could play the deliberate foul. He could play one of the yellows onto the red over the pocket, try and leave the cue ball safe. He could play the yellow up to the reds. That's what I think he's tried to do. I think that's what he tried to do, because of the pace that he played it at suggested that. And he was trying to leave the cue ball in an area where Dylan couldn't do too much. Of course, for world rules, you know, when the balls can be like this, although reds do look like their absolute favourite, the frame can turn round in 1 or 2 shots. If your opponent can play a clever, deliberate foul, it can just turn round on you. So you do have to kind of read a shot or two ahead here. A bit like chess in a way. You've got to anticipate your opponent's moves as well as the shots that you're playing. Take that into account. But to be fair, I didn't realise he could get through to that angle on the red, so I'd be quite happy with that. Now, of course, you look at the table, reds have just got the whole game sewn up at the moment. So let's see what Liam decides to do. So now he's playing the DF that I suggested before. That isn't going to help him in this situation here. I would have thought he'll move these reds out into play. Another option he's got is to bring one of the reds out into play and then play the other red across onto the yellow he's just left over the pocket, so you've got both pockets again. He's got a few options here. Depends how brave you want to be, I suppose. So it looks to me like he's just going to play both of these reds out into the table. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. You're never quite sure where everything's going. If you remember a couple of frames ago, that's what Liam did, knocked the black in. You're never ever quite sure where everything's going to go. But that has come out reasonably well, I would suggest. I suppose it's all about the black at the moment. Now what's going to be important here is, can he pot the black? Can he cut the black? He's looking to see now, can I cut it in from that angle? Well, it's hard to tell on our monitors. But he's certainly on the 3 reds, so he's going to get to the black. Okay, so we've got a bit of a different view of this now for us. All I'm saying is that's going to be mighty close. If he's going to try and cut that black in, he will be mighty close to the yellow. Well, maybe there's a bit more room than we can see. It does look tight to me. Maybe it is deceptive. Maybe there's more room there than we realise, but it does look tight. Well, what did you all think of that? The black moved, the yellow moved. I certainly couldn't tell if that was a foul or not. I just thought before the shot, I think I'd have been calling a referee over there to watch that shot. It looked that tight. So I'm presuming that a foul has not been called. So I'm not really sure what he's going to do here. He could roll the yellow up to the black, but he's a little bit straight on it, and of course remember he's got to hit a cushion. If he rolls up to this other yellow here, this one, he's going to leave him up and down. I'm a little bit surprised at this. It's a basic up and down. I know there's a gap where the pocket is, but of course there's a chance he can go into the gap and make a foul. I suppose what Liam's thinking is if he goes up and down, hits the black, and the black stays in the pocket, then the yellow that's close to the black now, of course he can play that across and play a combination shot onto the other yellow. He's actually theoretically got a chance to clear up. So I suppose if you want to look at it like that, it's probably not such a bad shot, but I just don't like leaving someone an easy escape with the ball virtually over the pocket. Well, that's just absolutely incredible to come out like that. Absolutely incredible. It looks for all the world that the white's going to go into the pocket. It's come off two cushions, and somehow it's double kissed, and he's not left him on the yellow near the black. He's not left him on the yellow over the pocket. He may have to come up and down the table and try and put the one over the pocket here. I can't see really much of another shot. And what ain't going to help him is that the yellow is right in the pocket, so he's got to be very accurate here. And there you go. And that's what happens. The yellow was so far in the pocket, it's just so easy to miss it. So that shot before, where he's hit the black and somehow come out like that. Absolutely incredible shot that was. It just goes to show playing pool, you do need that bit of running, that little bit of luck to go your way at times. You can play that shot another 10 times and the white would go in every time. Quite incredible. a very good break by Liam in this frame. It's exactly what he wanted after losing a last frame that could have so easily been his. You have to put these things out of your mind. It's a long race, first to 9. So there's plenty of time to get back into the match. But you'll know the importance of trying to clear up here and not let your opponent back at the table. It'd have already pretty much worked out the order he wants to play these in. And I would suggest already he's slightly out of position here. He wanted to be straight in on this one in the middle. He may be forced to go up and down the table with the cue ball. He's just looking now, can he miss? He needs to miss both yellows. And it hasn't happened yet again. And this is what I was saying, it's just so important positionally. Yep, he's struggling here now to make this finish. Well, I don't agree with that shot. And he's in all sorts of trouble now. It wouldn't have been so bad if the yellow hadn't got tied up with the red, because you've gone and done that. It changes the whole shape of the game. I think for Dylan now he's in like a bit of a comfort zone, because he's got the lead and he's getting the running. He's playing well, but he's getting them little bits of running that you need when you've got two decent players playing each other. That is one of the important things, really. We're all about that for a shot. See, this is where you do need a bit of luck. He's gone for an outrageous double back in the middle. You've no idea where the cue ball's going. And he's been lucky and unlucky at the same time, because if he could have just rolled this yellow into the corner and been on this yellow in the middle, it would have been perfect. But as you can see, he has got an angle. So he's going to have to play a cannon of some description here. So you can cannon into the yellow, the last yellow, and hope you land on it. Or if that yellow will go off the pocket past the red, you can cannon into the red just above the yellow and try and finish on it like that. But whatever you try here, you're relying on a little bit of luck to go your way. So we're going to have a little look here how he's going to play it. Obviously when you're at the table you can see the angle a lot better. Right, I'm not sure what he was trying there. He was trying to spin it round the table, I'm thinking. Missed the ball altogether, gone for the fin cut. This is where once you get yourself in trouble, I mean, he had the finish from the break, and then you've lost position, then you've played a shot, and you've got an unwanted cannon, and once that all starts happening, it's just a domino effect from there, and that's what's happened. And then one thing's just led to another, and you're just fighting against it. And he probably, inside, probably feels a little bit aggrieved that he's not getting the little bits of run that you need. Like I said, you do need them. And he's probably hurting a little bit inside from that point of view. But you see, what you should try and do when you're playing in a long match like this, first to 9, your opponent's only on 5, he still needs another 4 frames. What you don't do is give him easy games like this. You make him fight for everything. We've still got his 2 visits here. What he's debating is, does he bring the bad red into play? I think that's his decision at the moment. And how do you play it? So here we go. It's just played a little double kiss onto the black. That's worked out quite well. So this simple black to make it 6-2. So it's still in Leary to break, leading 6 frames to 2 in the opening round of the Masters event here at Savanna's. Okay, so the players are back. A quick break. Leary breaking, leading by 6 frames to 2. This is the opening round of the Savanna Masters event. And Liam's got to find something at the moment because it's not quite going his way. He's making a few unforced errors, shall we say, and I think he's got to just tighten his game up here and make Dylan work a bit more for his frames. Well, I wasn't really sure what he was doing after the first pot, but he's pulled out an excellent shot there. And that gives him a very good chance in this frame. He's got that one awkward yellow to try and get on. He's got to work out how to get on that. But the rest of the yellows are quite well situated. And that's what he's trying to work out at the moment, because the other four yellows are quite easy to pot. It's how does he get onto this tricky one on the cushion, which is being guarded by two reds as well, so you've only got a small window to try and get into. Well, he won't be taking the one up the rail now, I wouldn't have thought, but he is on it. He can see through that window at the moment. So we're going to be eliminating the two top yellows and coming back down table here. Okay, so he's trying to work out where to leave the white ball so he can get on the one on the cushion. Such a crucial shot because you've got to be so accurate. I think he's better off leaving the white there where he's looking now. Playing the yellow into the bottom left hand pocket as we look, and then he's got a chance to be on the one on the cushion. I think that would be the better shot. No, elected to go this way, didn't like this way, and that's why I think you're struggling here no matter what you do. Now you're relying on getting a cannon, a full ball cannon on the red to develop the yellow. And that's what happens. Nothing. And that's another frame gone. Unless you pull out some audacious shot here, that's another frame gone. He's thinking he's got enough room maybe to double this. It's hard from there, from where the cue ball is. That's a hard double to kind of work out. Oh, I did say an audacious shot, and that was ridiculous, wasn't it? Come off the cushion first and make the pot. And yet again, as I said before, he's just not having them little bits of running that he deserved, because he deserved to be on the black after that shot. You know, and it goes another half an inch, and you've got a roll in the middle, and now you've got nothing. And sometimes you have matches where you feel like you know you don't get anything going your way, and then this is one of them. Got a good connection on the black, but of course now you've left the black safe, tied up with a red. You've just made it easy for your opponent. The fact that he's got 3 or 4 reds on the cushions is irrelevant here, I think. So what Dylan's done there is brought one of his bad reds into play, trying to get the snooker at the same time. I'm not sure he's got the snooker. I think you might be able to see the edge of the black. Of course he's got no shot at it, so it's irrelevant. Although I think he's looking at going cush first here. Yes, I think if he can just get a connection on the black from the cushion, it will be going somewhere over the right hand side. Oh no, we're swerving it now. There we go. That's a great effort. Cush first, it was always going to be going somewhere towards the corner pocket. So this is what I say, you know, is keep the game alive. Don't make it too easy for your opponent. Okay, so he's potted the ball, developed that red, pushed it from one cushion to another, but he's perfectly on the red down the rail here. He's got a bit of work to do, but at least he's got a chance to do it. Would have preferred if the red he connected with hadn't gone well towards the bottom cushion as we look. Got a couple of options. I mean, he can continue going for the finish, but let's face it, it's with a couple of balls on the cushions isn't easy. He has got safety options available to him. I suppose it's always how you're feeling inside. I think he can get through to the one on the bottom cushion here. Not gone through quite far enough. He wanted to be a bit straighter on this, so he can roll it in slow. He can still play that shot, but of course there's a bit more angle, makes it a bit more difficult. Played it very well. So now it will all come down to this red on the side cushion. So when he pots this now, just wants to leave a little angle so the white comes off the rail slightly. I'm not sure he's done that perfectly. Could have a little more angle here. Now do you just roll this in, just stun it in, just screw it in. Played it very well, played it with a little bit of side there just to get the cue ball back out away from the cushion so he can cue it this better. Well, he's hit that much too hard. He's kind of thrown that one a little bit, thrown one in there, but see what I was saying about having bits of luck. You know, to miss a black like that and to come out like this, scandalous. Don't matter how well you play, but you've got to have that bit of luck. Well, he's left him a challenge in black to go at. It's not the easiest of shots. Nope, he's missed that one. I think he's left that reasonable enough. It is a cut, but Liam will be happy just to get a go at this one. Yes, it must be a bit more of a cut than what we can see here, because he's gone round and looked at this twice. So you don't want to overcut this. So you're steady now. All about your cue action here. Okay, yeah, it was a bit of a cut, that. But he's had a result. Dylan's missed 2 blacks. And all of a sudden, we're back in it, 6-3. So what an important break this is for Liam. He's got his way back into it. It's been given a frame, a life if you like. And if he can win this frame and get back to 6-4, he'll feel like he's still well in the match. And that's how things can turn round in a game of pool so quickly. Both sets are reasonably good here. I'm thinking that the reds are slightly better, but both sets are reasonably good. Okay, so we've gone reds. Hasn't left the white in the most perfect position here. You could go up table, or you can take the combination shot into the middle. The only problem there is you've got to be very careful, because the red you're going to hit first could finish on the rail. Oh, so this ball must pot in the corner. Didn't realise this. Alright, well that makes his work a lot easier. Again though, left a bit more angle than what he intended. Didn't want to leave this angle, because now his white's going into the 2 yellows. So he's not played that great really. I think he'd have been better off stunning that ball in, the one he's just potted, because then you would have been cutting this in like from that angle where his cue is, and that they made positional a lot better for the finish. But now I don't know if he can avoid these yellows. No, he can't, and that's what happens. And now you're in all sorts of trouble. I think if he'd have just done that red in 2 shots ago, brought the white over a few inches, that would have been quite good. I think this still goes into the bottom left, does it? And it's sat right in the pocket. If that drops, you've got 2 or 3 roll-ins to win the frame, and it hasn't dropped. But that's all because throughout the finish you just didn't have the cue ball under control, and this is what I was saying, it's just so important to do that. You can make easy finishes easy, and you can make hard finishes relatively easy just by having a good cue ball control all the time. Liam's had a few easy enough tables to go at, but he's just never kept his cue ball under perfect control, and that's been his downfall. To be fair, watching some of the shots I've been in this match, the table does look like it's playing a little on the slow side. I don't know if that's just my imagination or not, watching it on the monitor, but just certain shots they seem to have slowed up. I'm presuming that this black pot's past the red. So if that's the case, Dylan's only got one bad yellow to try and develop. In fact, he doesn't really have to develop the bad yellow, because really it's just a matter of trying to get behind it. And I'm sure he's that's what he's giving some thought to. So this finish really is all about trying to get on this awkward yellow ball that's down near the pocket that Liam managed to get the red over, and that really is what the frame will be about. So the black didn't go, and he's just developed the black, so that's a good shot in itself, but we didn't realise that. I presumed the black did go, obviously it didn't, that's why he's played that shot. So that's first object done. So he's still got the problem of trying to get on this bad yellow, but at least he's got options. He has got options. Well, I'm a little bit surprised at this. Are we just trying to double this ball? A little bit surprised at that, to be quite honest. I don't think you need to do that. And also, if you're going to play the double, play it slow, so you leave the yellow in the pocket at least. It's just that don't seem like him at all to play a shot like that. A little bit surprised there. Now what Liam has to do is make him pay, take this chance. Stretching a little bit here. He may have a little extension that he screws into the bottom of his cue, like some of the players do have. That will help here because it's a full stretch over to try and pot this red. That's all he needs to do, just stun it in. Get the cue ball over a couple of inches, nothing stupid. And he's back at 6-4 if he pots this black. And that went in off the cushion as well a little bit, but in it goes. And it is 6-4. I think the players are having a short break, so we'll be straight back.
First of all, what went through my mind is how stupid am I to actually volunteer for this?
So the players are back, and here we go once again. I think Liam will be feeling a lot better inside, because he wasn't getting a lot of running, and somehow he's managed to get back into this match. Probably has to be said, a couple of poor shots from Dylan. He's missed a black twice. One of the first black he missed was very potable, and then he went for an unorthodox double there, I thought, and then gave the frame up, and all of a sudden, you know, we're back to 6-4. And then, of course, Dylan's had a dry break here. That's what tends to happen, how things can turn in a pool match. Reds are by far the better suit here, so the first object I always think is, you know, at least you try and get on the right suit, don't you? And it gives you a realistic chance. But over on the right hand side rail, I'm thinking that red probably doesn't go down past the yellow. So that's going to be his one little problem. There always seems to be one little problem, doesn't there, in a frame, and that's going to be that one. If he can try and get behind it and put it in the middle, but of course he's got a red near the middle where that is. That's his developing red. So really, if he can pot one of these, I think he's lost position straight away. Is he here? Can't tell. Can he get through to this red that he's looking at? Because if he could roll that in, you see, you can cut the red into the opposite middle and then develop the bad red. Doesn't have to hit it very hard, but then all of a sudden they're all there within pots. Okay, so he couldn't get through to that, so he's had to go this route. So he's just checking where he wants to leave this cue ball. So now his options are, does he play the cannon, or does he try and get behind the bad red, because that will pot in the middle pocket. That's his options. Okay, so I still think he's got both options here. I think he can stun behind it, and I think he can play the cannon. If he plays the cannon, don't play it too hard. See, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. You've played it too hard. You've no control on the ball. You've no control on the cue ball. You've just decided to take a chance, and that's what happens. All he had to do there was flick that red into play, because he would have been on these two reds easy up the table, and then you got the chance to come back down and play onto that and the black pots. So you just cannot continually play pool like that and get away with it. Be interesting to see what choice of shot he makes here, because he needs to get, because that, not only is he not on the red, he's actually put it in a place where it doesn't pot anywhere. So it couldn't have come out much worse than what it has. Okay, so he must have seen something that we haven't. So we're going to carry on potting the reds. This is why I said, you know, you could have just chipped that red into play, and then you had these two reds to fall on up the table. So what's he going to do here? Does it pot? Is he going to play a cannon? It's hard to know what he's going to do. I'm not sure that's where he's played to be. So now we're relying on a double, I'm guessing. I'm not even sure this doubles the way he's looking at it, whether he's looking at it off the yellow, playing the red off the yellow, it looks like. Yeah, that's what he's tried. Well, he's nearly had a bit of a result there. Nearly. If the red had finished right over the pocket, it wouldn't have been too bad, but it's actually finished worse than that, isn't it? Because he's left a gap there, and there's a yellow available to pop past the red, which means Dylan can move the red away from the pocket altogether, and then actually looking at the yellows, they're not actually that bad. So he doesn't have to do that. He's also got safety options, snookering options. Dylan has right from this shot, doesn't have to do anything silly here. I think if this was like 6-2, 6-1, Dylan would just be off for these. But now it's come back to 6-4, and he's kind of give the last couple of frames away. It kind of makes you feel like you need to tighten up slightly sometimes, and make sure, you know, you've got this frame really. Yellow shouldn't lose this frame from here. That is that simple. But the next shot he plays is important. The choice that he makes here. And the thing is, he has got several choices of what to do, so he's kind of probably working each one out. Anyway, he's decided he's going to attack after all this. So all along, he's probably done the right thing here. He could have attacked and gone for the finish here, but like I said, because he's lost them last two frames, I think he was just looking for a good containing snooker to get himself back in it. So that's what he's done. He's actually fought this out quite well. He's left the white in a good place. Well, it's just not easy to get at the red. He hasn't really left him a one cushion escape. It's only like a two cushion, and even that is extremely hard to judge. He's having to go early here with side to make the angle. Well, you don't get much closer than that. Once again, very, very close, but no cigar, as we say. So that's two visits to Dylan from here. So he's going to cut this ball over to the pocket, which is done. So he's wasted his two shots there, but the finish, he's confident enough he's going to get the finish from here. As I said before, if the red had finished in the jaws of the pocket, it would have helped him a lot more. This is quite a big frame, I think, really. The fact that he's got them two frames back, and then he's had a chance here to clear from the break and not got it. I think if he'd have got that and he'd gone 6-5 with his break following, it could have been an interesting second half of the match. Well, I don't think he's played it like that. I think he's played to be on the yellow into the middle pocket, just not gone far enough. As I said before, I think the table's slowed up. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I think this does pass the red, and it has, so that was a bit of a bonus for him. I'm presuming the black does pass the red, so he'll probably just stun this back. So, big chance gone there for Liam, to be fair. Yep. Plenty of power in that break. Liam will know this is an important frame coming up. Doesn't want to see Dylan get onto the hill quite yet. Yellows are lovely here. You'd be quite happy with this break. But once again, the yellows are there. Mind your work. He hasn't been doing it enough. He hasn't took his chances enough in this match. I think he'll know that afterwards, regardless of the result. He will feel like he's had chances that he's missed. Because sometimes you can play matches and you don't feel like you've had many chances at all. But to be fair, in this match he has. I'm the first to admit that he's probably not had his fair share running in this match, but of course that happens in pool. You can play your next match and have more than your fair share. That's the nature of the game, unfortunately. But I think there's just been certain shots where he's got them wrong. But here, like he's clearing up on the yellows. There's no excuse. You should be clearing up here. I can't see exactly how straight he is on this yellow into the corner, but when he pots the one at the top left-hand pocket, obviously he'll be on the one in the middle for the black. So this is the shot that matters now. Is make sure you can see the ball over the top pocket after you pot this. Now if he's got a slight angle, he can probably run it through off the top rail here. But then of course if you flick side on it, are you going to be snookered? So he needs to make sure he can see that ball. He probably hasn't come with the best angle here. So he's put a dab aside on it there, so to bring the white back out of the way from the reds. So now, if he's straight in on this yellow over the pocket, all he's really got to do is stun it in, because he's going to be on the yellow then into the middle. That's his shot. So he's just looking there. I've got a slight feeling you may have a bit of an angle here. I don't think he's dead straight on this. And you've got to be so careful. If you play it with top, with the angle, it's going to throw wide. I think you need to be stunning this in if you can. The problem with pool balls is we've all played it enough to know that if you've got an angle, even if you're trying to play it with top, it doesn't always react right like you want it to. See, he's trying to do it. He's played it with loads of check side there. He's actually played that very well. Made the pot harder, but he's perfect now. This was an important visit, an important response after what's happened. So he's hanging in there still. Now it's 7 frames to 5 in a race to 9. So Dylan Leary breaking off in this frame. Well, sometimes you can break off in a game of pool and one set will come out better than the other. Maybe slightly sometimes, but then you'll get a frame like this and then you'll think, well, there's only one set to be on here, isn't there? From the break. But apart from the ball that's right in the pocket, can he pot a red? And that red that's in the pocket is right in the pocket, so it's hard to get any kind of positional response from it. Yes, the rest of the reds aren't brilliant looking, just looking down table. But because of where the reds are, where the black is, you feel like you've just got to be on them. See? So when he's played that shot there, all he could do was just clip it in. You couldn't do much with the cue ball at all. I don't think I'd be potting another red here. I think this has just got to be a safety shot up in the corner. But it seems to me like he's looking to carry on attacking. There's no need to do it. Yeah, it's playing that's the shot I'd have played, I think. I think he's done the right thing. What you want to do, you want Dylan to play down the table at these yellows to leave you in amongst the reds on the next shot. That's what you want. Was a very difficult shot because it's bridging right over the red. When the white's tight on the red, really tight on it, because the white ball's slightly smaller, you know, and you're bridging over, it's very hard to sight it, to sight the ball properly. It'll be interesting to see what Liam decides to do here, because he's got the red into the middle, then he can be on the one in the corner, develop the other one. He maybe feels he's got a chance here. Okay, so he could have done with a bit more angle on this. There is an angle, but not a big one. I don't know if he can just roll this in and then roll the red into the middle, the one that's right next to the yellow. Can't tell if that's on or not. If not, he's going to have to play a cannon. When you do that, you're never sure where anything's going. Okay, so we played the cannon. Well, I suppose it could have been worse. At least he's brought it into play. He's got the white up the table. Again, doesn't have to continue potting balls here. Could just sit in the corner again on the red. Yes, let's see what he does. Doesn't have to continue going here. Okay, so the red that's near the pocket where the black is, there is a gap. Definitely is a gap. All the yellows pot now. I'm just gonna wonder if he's gonna rue that shot that he's just played. I'm not suggesting that the black will pot off the red. All I'm saying is that there's definite gap there. It may double hit off the red and go into the pocket, or it might just hit the red and stay in the pocket. I'm not quite sure. You can never be 100% sure with these things, but there is a definite gap. Okay, so we can see there the gap isn't that big, but what's going to happen is if you did clear up and you played the black down the cushion, the red will automatically move to the side, the black will come through. Will it double kiss it in? There's a chance it might. I'm not suggesting that's the right thing to do, I'm just saying it's an option. If you don't do that, what you're going to do, because next time Liam comes back to the table, he's most likely going to clear up anyway, so it's either you're going to clear up and try the black down the rail, or you could try doubling it in the middle or something stupid like that, or you could look for a safety option. I think when you're in these situations like this, that's one of the things you have to decide. You know, do I defend, do I attack? He really is weighing up his options here. This is a big visit to the table, I think. This was always going to be the opening shot, I think. This yellow into the middle. Okay, now all the yellows are there. They're not very hard. The problem, of course, is the black ball. Does it go past that red? It doesn't go clean past, that's for sure. But will it double kiss past? Do you clear up and play for a double on the black? Or do you look for a safety option? I think he probably thought that was his most awkward yellow, so he wanted to pot that one. And what he's done, I just checked there, he made sure he pushed the red par enough for the double. So I think that's what he's going to be doing. I think that's what he's decided. He's going to try and double the black in the middle. I'm just curious whether it would go off the red in the corner. I'd like to see him have a go at that, just for my own curiosity, of course, because there is a definite gap there. But I've got a feeling it's double time. Of course, if you want to play the double, you've still got to get nice on the black, haven't you, to play it? So this is where this shot will be so important. You got to get nicely past the black. Now let's have a look. Well, I have to say that isn't bad. You have to say that's about right. This is about as good as you get on this. Absolutely incredible. What can you do? But he did get on it perfectly there. But what a shot. In the context of the whole match, it's huge, because it's 8-5 or it's 7-6, so absolutely huge. But I did question when Liam doubled the red over to the corner. I did question if that was the right shot at the time. I'm not so sure it was, and there you go, because the red that he moved was right next to the black, so he had no shot on the black at all until he did that. I think if he'd just tapped up to the red over the pocket, he'd have had him in all sorts of trouble. Well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because he's made a ball on the break. Reds have come out much better than the yellows. But the problem is, you need to pot the opening red here. You can nominate reds, but you've got to pot it. And there's no easy shot that I can see. It's strange. It's strange the way the balls can come out on the break sometimes. Well, he's decided to go yellows here, hasn't he? Yeah. He couldn't pot the opening red, this was the problem. He's decided to go yellows, which is a much more difficult finish. It's still makeable, but I think he felt he was forced into it. Well, I don't know if he wanted that to drop in or not. Hard to know. But it makes your job a bit harder, that's for sure. I think it'd be better if it had sat up. When he's got the pot on this, he needs to get round the back of this yellow now to have a go at it. No, no good. You have to get right round the back of that then. You have to be careful with this. You pot the black here. He's looking at playing the yellow off the black into the corner. But if you do that, now he's looking at off the red in the middle. But because you're cutting the ball back, you can't judge it. You can't judge the angle impact. So you'd be very lucky to make any of these shots, to be quite honest. And you're bringing his bad red into play, so it's going to be frame over anyway. That's a fair effort. Fair enough effort, but it was because you're cutting it back, it's just so much guesswork involved. I suggest that's end of game now. The reds are relatively easy. But as I said before, one thing I would say about this match is Liam has had plenty of chances, plenty of frame-winning opportunities that he hasn't taken. I think he'll know that himself. And against someone of Dylan's kind of calibre, you can't be missing these chances. Of course, it isn't the end of the tournament for Liam if he loses this. It's double elimination, so he'll go into the losers bracket. And I think this is double elimination down to the last 16. So this will be eight from the winner side, 8 from the loser side, and then it's redrawn. And I think that will probably be this evening. I think it will be played down to the last 16 by them. But once again, we have some absolute quality players in the event. Some proper old school players from days gone by. But when you think that Dylan, who's turned 50 this year, I don't know if he's turned 50 yet, but he turns 50 this year, so it's his first year as a senior. When you think he's the men's European champion, it just goes to show, you know, the quality that is there in the senior ranks. So this simple black for a 9-5 win in the first round. Okay, we'll be back shortly with another match for you. So have a nice afternoon, everyone.